Hi, my name is Chelsea. I'm 25 years old, and my husband and I will be married for 1 year in July, and I suffer with infertility. And that's very weird to say out loud. It's not something that I talk about or that I really have anyone to talk about it with. It's just a lot. And so I thought I'd make videos because I watch other people's infertility videos, and the ones that I had been watching, they all have their babies now, and so they're making videos about being moms and going through the things that moms go through, while I'm still sitting here like, oh, to see someone else and see that they're experiencing the same things makes you feel not as alone. And I know there have to be other people out there that are going through the same thing. It can't just be me. I know it's not just me. My health issues really started in 2009, right after I graduated high school. And in the fall of 2009, one day I just started having palpitations and I couldn't breathe, and I was like, this isn't normal. So I went to the hospital, and I was actually in the hospital for over a week. And that was really hard because I was in the cardiac unit of the hospital, and all the other people that are there are all elderly people, because these are the people that have, most of the time, issues with their heart. After a few months of taking medication and doing other things, it was kind of under control, but it wasn't. And so one day during class, I had an episode, and I had to have my best friend, I told her, you need to help me leave, like I have to leave. My heart was just going crazy, and then I sat in the parking lot and waited for my mom to come get me. And we left my car at my college, and she took me home. The next day, she took me right to the cardiologist, and she said, you have to fix this. We can't do this anymore. So they said, oh, we'll give you a surgery. And it was either medicine or surgery at first, and we both thought, I don't want to have a surgery. Like, I'm 20 years old. I'm 19, 20, I don't remember how old I was. I don't want to have surgery. But after living with it and having to deal with it for so long, I was just like, let's do it. Let's do this surgery. So at 19 or 20, my memory's bad. I can't remember what it was. I had surgery. I was awake through this whole process. They went in through, they said my legs. When they say legs, they did not mean legs. They meant crotch. They went in through the major arteries in my right, I guess, where your legs meet your torso. And halfway through the surgery, my doctor comes over me and he looks down at me and he says, well, we couldn't do it, so I'll see you in my office on Monday. I had never felt so disappointed and so let down in my entire life. It was crushing to me, because this was supposed to be the thing that would fix everything. Like, I would be normal again. As much as that was a soul-crushing moment, life went on. But that moment really kind of stopped my life for a while. I became agoraphobic. I didn't leave my house for probably over 6 months without my mother. So my life was just out of control. And then finally I went to my regular doctor and I told him these things, and he said, well, okay, I'll give you some medicine for your anxiety. But after I had that, I was able to live my life a little more. I was able to go out, and I went out on dates again. I hadn't gone on dates in forever because obviously I'm not going to bring my mom with me on a date. And then I met Sean over the internet. We met on Tumblr, actually. And after a few years, we moved in together. And then a week after we moved in together, my anxiety was at such a high that I couldn't function. And I would call my dad and say, you have to come get me. And I would sit under my kitchen table and just freak out until he got there. And that went on for maybe 2 months of just this anxiety being at this high. And it was terrible. And finally one day I broke down and told my mom, I can't do this. I cannot live like this. And it wasn't my heart anymore. It was just my brain. Like, my body has been fighting me for as long as I can remember now. It's been me against it. She sent me to my doctor that I go to now, and she prescribed me some medication, and we talked. Talking is very important if you suffer with anxiety or depression. As much as you don't want to talk to someone, it is so helpful. I cannot even imagine where I would be. I don't want to imagine where I would be without having gone and spoken to her. But besides that, she helped me, and I was able to do things. I could go do my own laundry. I could cook. I could drive. And it was amazing. And I was able to get married. And that was a big step. And then we decided we wanted a family, because that's something that I've always wanted and that he's always wanted. In November of 2014, I stopped taking my birth control. And I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. Nothing was happening. I was not having a period. I would go months without having a period, which some people would be like, yes, I'm not having a period. But for me, it was like, okay, this is weird. What's going on? What's happening? I think doctors tend to be dismissive of young women seeking reproductive health because they see it as, you have all this time, you have nothing to worry about, like you should focus on other things. But for me, having a family was something that was very important and something that my partner and I wanted. From November 2014 to November 2015, I had 6 periods. If you know anything about periods, that's not normal. So I decided then that I would make an appointment for January. I just wanted to get the rest of the year over with. And in January, we would really start trying, and we'd really start seeing, like, what they can do for us. Well, January comes around, and my appointment was for the 21st of January. January 14th, I had been taking ovulation tests and doing them just to see if I was even ovulating. And I took a test on January 14th, and there was nothing. It was just the line that comes up, and then there was no test line. Thought, okay, that's weird. So I took a pregnancy test. And it was the slightest positive, but it was positive. It wasn't one of those ones where you really have to, like, look at it, like, and do all these filters on it to see if it was positive. Like, it was positive. So I was just thinking, oh my gosh, it actually happened. Even with only having 6 periods, like, it happened. I told Sean, and we were really excited. And so I went into my appointment on the 21st. She said, okay, well, we'll do a blood test. I went in and I did the blood test, and the next day I had a chemical pregnancy, which was really, really difficult, but at the same time, it happened. I got pregnant. I was pregnant, and as difficult as it was to lose that pregnancy, I knew that it could happen. And that was an amazing feeling. That was a very hopeful feeling. The first hopeful feeling I had had in a really long time. So after my doctor called a few days later, and she said, your test came back and it's positive, you're pregnant. And I had to tell her, and it was a very awkward conversation because it wasn't something that we had told anyone. I told Sean, and my mom knew, and no one else knew. So it wasn't something that I had to tell people, like, oh, we lost the pregnancy. But just telling this random woman over the phone was difficult. And she was very sweet about it. And she said, okay, well, now you need to make an appointment to come in and see the doctor again. So she was going to give me the same spiel again about, oh, you have time, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to hear that. I've dealt with doctors since I was 19 years old. I know that if you don't initiate a conversation, they're not going to. You have to tell them sometimes, this is what I want to happen. You don't have to be rude about it. You just have to initiate the conversation. And so I told her, no, I want as many tests done as you can do to figure out why this is happening to me. At the time I was 24, and I said, I know I'm 24 years old, but this is what my partner and I want, and I want you to do this for me. So she said, okay, we'll do some tests. I had $200 worth of blood work done. And as for someone who gets their blood drawn easily, I am not that person. I could not be an intravenous drug user. I have the tiniest veins. They have to use a butterfly needle on me all the time. It's horrible. And they had to draw like 10 vials of blood to do all these tests. And then I had to have an ultrasound to check my ovaries and everything. Another good thing when I had that ultrasound though, I ovulated. So that was a good thing to know, and she physically saw it. It wasn't just tests that I took. Like, she saw. So from January, February, didn't have a period then, but in March I did ovulate and have a period. So that was awesome. My doctor had me come back in and we talked about the findings of the ultrasound that I did and the blood work. And when I came in, she said, your ultrasound looked fine. She didn't give me the diagnosis of PCOS, because she stopped herself and said, you need to go see a thyroid specialist. She said, your thyroid levels are elevated. Great. Another thing. A heart doctor, a fertility specialist, a thyroid doctor. Let's just add another one on there. And I walked in, and after maybe 20 minutes of talking to him, he said, you have hyperthyroidism. You have Graves' disease. I was thinking, why didn't anyone test my thyroid in 2009 when all this was happening? And just now in 2015 or 2016, a doctor's telling me, this is what's wrong with you, and we're gonna fix it, and everything's gonna be better. And hallelujah, everything's gonna be better. And he said, I want to kill your thyroid. So I went downstairs and I made the appointment to get the radioactive iodine that would kill my thyroid. This was on a Thursday. I had to get some blood tests done Friday, and then I would have the procedure on Monday. Friday comes along. I get the test done because you need to have a negative pregnancy test to be able to get this done, which, dealing with infertility and having to get this test, I know I'm not pregnant, so just getting it was kind of a downer in itself. I get the blood test done, and a few hours later, I get a call from my doctor, and he says, cancel the procedure. Don't do it. I repeat, don't do the procedure. Come in and see me on Monday in my office. What? So high that this was going to make it better, and then all of a sudden, we're not doing that anymore. It was terrible. But at the same time, there was relief because I didn't have to swallow a pill of radioactive iodine, which I was terrified about. When I went into his office, he said, well, you don't have hyperthyroidism. My doctor then told me that, well, I could have been wrong in the first place, that it's not caused by hyperthyroidism. It might have been caused from your early miscarriage in January, and your hormone levels are just crazy at the time, and you were having what is called a thyroid storm. Okay, now what? So again, after years, I'm at a standstill. I'm at a point where, yes, you're having fertility issues, but we don't really know what it is. It could be PCOS, it could be something with your thyroid. We don't know. Part of me just wants to know. At this point, whatever it is, I just want to know. I have lived for 6-7 years now, not knowing what's wrong with my body. I just want to know what's wrong. So at this point, I'm just at a standstill, and I just wanted to make this video and this channel on my path to becoming a parent, because it's been a long, long road, and I want to connect with other people who are on this journey still. I want to connect with other women and with other couples that are going through the same struggles that I am. I want these videos to be about moving forward and being present and enjoying life as it is now. Sometimes as hard as it seems, because you want to have a family, you want to have all these things, but you need to enjoy this moment. And that's what I want to create here on this channel. So I hope you'll come along with me and keep me motivated and thinking in that headspace. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.